Welcome to the Disneyland with Kids podcast, where we help you plan vacations in 30 minutes or less. Looking to get opinions on where to stay, dine, and what extras are worth it? Join the Disneyland with Kids group on Facebook, where our members are talking about all this and more. See you there. On this episode, we are talking all about A Touch of Disney, the limited time, special ticketed shopping and dining experience held inside Disney California Adventure Park. I'm Julie from Mom Rewritten.
And I'm Jessica from the happiest blog on earth.
Last week, Jessica and I met up to experience A Touch of Disney together at the Disneyland Resort. It had been over a year since we'd last seen each other, and we just knew this special event was the perfect opportunity for us to meet up.
It was the perfect opportunity. Julie and I are both vaccinated, and that gave us just the right moment to come together and visit A Touch of Disney. It was so great to see you again. I just wanted to hold your hand the whole day. I think I hugged you like 5 times. But even so, Disney is still up to date and following all the safety protocols and guidelines as far as distancing and masking and all those things.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that topic first, because I think it's important that guests know what we experienced during A Touch of Disney is very likely what we'll see in regards to health and safety rules once the Disneyland parks reopen on April 30th. So Jessica, please outline a bit of what guests can expect in regards to masks, cleanliness, and other rules in and around the resort.
Right. Well, like I said, we're both vaccinated, but we still have to follow those health and safety procedures as well. So even if you're vaccinated, expect to wear a facial covering. Facial coverings are required for everyone ages 2 and up. You'll also find sanitizer and hand washing stations throughout the resort. We have cast members reminding everyone to wear their face coverings properly over their mouth and nose. There's also a lot of signage and stickers telling us where to wait, where to stand, and places not to sit so that you can keep your distance from other parties. Now, another thing that took some adjustment is that you cannot sip and stroll. So you can't grab a drink and carry it around, drinking it as you wander, or grab an ice cream cone and walk around and eat that. That took some getting used to.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people are very much used to doing that throughout the park. So that's a big change, that you have to be stationary and separate from other parties when you're eating and drinking. So let's dig in a little more about A Touch of Disney and what it's all about. We're hoping that this podcast will be helpful to those who are attending, and just something fun for those who are looking forward to the full park experience again. So Jessica, you and I were there on opening day, which was March 18th, and this event will run through April 19th. Now, unfortunately, tickets sold out very quickly. And Jessica, right now, A Touch of Disney is operating Thursdays through Mondays from noon to 8 p.m. As the full park opening day approaches, do you think there's a chance that Disney will decide to release more A Touch of Disney tickets and make this a daily event?
Well, I would love for that to happen and everyone to experience A Touch of Disney. I think they're more looking forward to the theme parks reopening at the end of April, and I don't think they'll add any more dates to A Touch of Disney.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're probably just getting prepped and ready for the full park experience, as are we all. So, Jessica, walk us through your day at A Touch of Disney, starting with parking, entry, and that whole process.
Right. Well, I went 2 days, so I was able to try out different strategies. But on day 1, Julie and I arrived together, and we opted for the true full experience, which meant we parked in Mickey and Friends, which is included in your Touch of Disney ticket. The day that we arrived, day 1, they opened the parking structure at 11:30. But every day they are adapting and working out all the little kinks, which means they are now opening the parking structure earlier than 11:30, because 30 minutes to get over from parking and go through security and all those things isn't quite happening. It's a little too tight of a timetable. So what happened for us is we parked and we did the temperature checks, the security, and then we walked the tram route over to Disneyland. So there's no tram running during A Touch of Disney, and it's my understanding that the tram will not initially be running with theme park reopening. So be prepared for that little walk over from the parking structure. And then once we got to the Esplanade area, where the main gates of the theme parks are, they had plenty of space for everyone to kind of zigzag and work your way through until you got to the gates. It looked a little overwhelming, but we never really stopped. You're mostly still moving in this line, and keep in mind, it's just so spread out to give everyone proper distancing. And even with all those people waiting to get in the gates, and I say all those people, the capacity was dramatically reduced. But at that kind of choke point is where you're with the most people. I never even got close enough to brush elbows with anyone else.
Yeah, and we heard from a few people that were staying at hotels on the Harbor Boulevard side, and this seemed to be an easier entry experience that saved quite a bit of time. So it's definitely a good tip to book a hotel on that side and walk over, or take rideshare transportation and be dropped off on Harbor Boulevard.
Right, and that's exactly what I did on day 2 as I was staying in a hotel just across the way. And most of those hotels there, you're actually going to be a shorter walking distance than walking from Mickey and Friends.
Wow, that is a big time saver because it is a little bit of a walk. Okay, so now that you've gotten us to the entrance, Jessica, tell us what you received at the front gates.
Well, I had my Touch of Disney ticket scanned into the Disneyland app, and you can do that with your regular Disneyland admission once theme parks reopen. They scanned my ticket, and then they gave me my hard ticket. So this is your paper ticket that you can keep as a backup. I really like having my tickets on the app and the paper ticket. Just comes in handy. And I got that paper ticket, and then I got my dining card, which is included in admission for A Touch of Disney. It had $25 loaded onto it. You could use it for non-alcoholic drinks and food at the marketplace kiosks and restaurants. I also picked up a guidebook with a map about where to find food and photo locations.
Now, Jessica and I went through this entire process together on opening day, and she had a really smart idea that got us our first A Touch of Disney meal in a real hurry. So tell everyone what you did while we were waiting in the Esplanade, Jessica.
We pulled up the menu and we figured out what we were going to eat for lunch and placed our order. That just kind of got the ball rolling while we were waiting to enter. And as soon as we walked through the gates, we were able to tap "I'm here," prepare my order, and not wait very long at all for our food to be ready and fresh at Smoke Jumpers. And this is just a tip that you could do anytime at Disneyland. We love to do mobile ordering when we're in line for a ride, and we know after this ride, we're going to want to have lunch or dinner.
And one thing that we discovered that Disneyland was able to do during the closure was an update to the mobile ordering system. So gift cards are now accepted through the Disneyland app for mobile ordering, which is huge. In the past, guests have only been able to use a credit card for payment. So being able to redeem a gift card through the mobile ordering system is really a game changer. So, Jessica, let's talk a little bit about the big part of A Touch of Disney, and that is the food. So talk to us about what kinds of food and drink are available, what restaurants are open, and of course, where you ate.
Well, Disney knows we've been missing so many of our favorite food items, so they've brought all those back into A Touch of Disney. We've got corn dogs, we've got Dole Whips, Monte Cristo sandwiches, so many of those things you've just been craving. They also opened up Carthay Circle and Lamplight Lounge for dining. Now, those reservations filled up really quickly, and I expect that's going to kind of be the same when the theme parks reopen. So be sure to check in the Disneyland with Kids group on reminders when reservations open up for the full theme park experience.
Do you think that people could get a walk-up reservation for any of those?
Oh, good point. So they did have some day of reservations available. Now, it was pretty limited, and your options for those were to get that on the mobile app or on location in front of the restaurant. You're going to scan a QR code. So I think the best option is to do that on the mobile app. You're just kind of putting yourself on a standby list for the restaurant, and they only allow so many people on that list. So you need to do that right away as you enter the parks for A Touch of Disney or for a regular Disneyland experience.
And of course, because of the limited capacity and only outdoor dining being available, that just really even limits the number of guests that they can serve in those restaurants anyway. You and I both noticed that there was kind of a lack of dessert options. I mean, there's still a lot of sweet treats you can find. You can still get churros and candied apples, but just not as many dessert dishes are found in the marketplace kiosks. And even Lamplight Lounge didn't have any dessert offerings. So you went to A Touch of Disney for 2 days, and you definitely tried a good number of dishes. What was your favorite food or drink item at A Touch of Disney, Jessica?
I would have to say it was the Impossible chili cheese fries that were available at Smoke Jumpers. I actually ordered those both days because they were so delicious, and it's plant-based too.
Well, this is really hard for me because I tried everything. Everything I tried was delicious. And frankly, I don't think I tried enough things. But the Spotlight Barbacoa nachos that we shared at Lamplight Lounge were probably my favorite. And
Yes.
the Blue Angelino cocktail at Smoke Jumpers Grill was fantastic. So I'm definitely excited for the full park experience again. Can't wait to eat and drink my way through Disneyland when they reopen. So we've talked about the food. Let's discuss another A Touch of Disney perk, and that's all the photo opportunities. Because of the low crowd capacity, taking pictures around California Adventure was just it was super fun. So Jessica, talk a bit about how PhotoPass is working at this event and what other photo ops there are during A Touch of Disney.
The photo ops really surprised me. I had so much fun going around the park, picking out new places to take pictures and working with the PhotoPass photographers. Now, one important thing you need to know is that you do continue to wear your mask during photos. That's really important. We want to make sure that when people see our photos from Disneyland that they know masks are required. And one way to show that is by keeping our face coverings on during pictures. And PhotoPass photographers will remind you of that as well. Now, there were so many places that the PhotoPass photographers were at throughout A Touch of Disney, and every time we saw one, we pretty much stopped. The capacity meant that there were only a couple people in line, maybe 4 parties, but usually 2 or 1 in front of us to take a picture. On a normal Disneyland day, that's just not the case. They tend to move pretty quickly, but sometimes those lines scare people off. Don't let that scare you off. The PhotoPass opportunities are fantastic. They're still doing magic shots, which means that they put some more Disney elements into select photos. And then there are other places where there are no PhotoPass photographers, but there are great backdrops or even characters to take pictures with. Like we saw Miguel from Coco, and there were cast members there showing us where we could set our phone on a ledge and put a timer on so that we could all get in the photo together, even though those cast members aren't allowed to hold your phone and take your photo for you during this pandemic time.
So tell us a little bit more about those character photo opportunities. I mean, obviously with social distancing, giving Mickey a big hug or requesting an autograph isn't happening right now, but Disney's doing some cool things with character greetings. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, well, like I mentioned, we saw Miguel from Coco, and we really were able to go almost right up to him. They had like a little display in front that just added to the photo anyways. So you stand on one side, he stands on the other. Then you have Lightning McQueen and Cars Land and Mater, and those you could almost go right up to as well. Then there are some other characters that you're going to see from a distance, like we saw Max and Goofy fishing at Pacific Wharf, and because they were up above, it just gives the opportunity for so many people to see them. You don't need to form a line. You can see them from a distance and they will point and interact with you, and you get to see what they are fishing for in Pacific Wharf, which is quite the comedy show. So other characters you're going to see from a distance in really unique spots. They will surprise you sometimes on where they are. We saw joy and sadness at Emotional Whirlwind, and it really didn't feel like you weren't with the characters. They know how to interact with you. I saw the cutest thing. A little girl was playing peekaboo with, I can't remember now if it was joy or sadness, but every time the character popped up, this little girl just giggled uncontrollably, and it made all of us stop and just laugh and enjoy this special moment that they had together.
I really enjoyed the character greetings, and I think that that's probably what we're going to be expecting when the parks reopen. So the characters are not going to be absent from the park. Disney's going to find creative and unique ways for guests to continue to be able to see and engage with those characters. So, A Touch of Disney's being touted as a dining and shopping experience. So, Jessica, what did you notice about shopping during this event?
Well, I really could have used more stores open. Like, I wanted all the stores open. There's something unique about each shopping experience and which lands they're located in. They have some merchandise that's unique. So mostly we saw Bing Bong's sweet stuff that was open, and then the shops on Buena Vista Street. But I really would have loved to see all of the stores open. Right now they have a legacy pass holder discount. So if you were an annual pass holder, you should see that distinguished in your Disneyland app. You're going to look under My Passes and Tickets, and it should have a little code for you to scan to enjoy your legacy pass holder discount. They may bring back that discount throughout the summer as well, so make sure that you have that. I did some shopping for some new Minnie Mouse ears because I just adore Minnie Mouse ears. And they also had some novelty items that you can include with your mobile order. So I got this really cute Disneyland tumbler. When I ordered a drink, I just upgraded it to the tumbler. So that was really cool because it made shopping super easy. It's like just an extra souvenir thing. Yes, I'll take that on my mobile order, and then I was done.
Well, I only went into one shop, and that was Trolley Treats. And I was just getting some take home desserts for my kids. And there's one thing I noticed, there's only one available entry door, there's one exit door, and the rest of the doors were closed off. And they had a cast member that was monitoring the number of guests that were being allowed inside. And there were directional arrows on the ground just to control like pathway flow. And of course, they had spaced out lines on the floor to stand on for checkout. And it's a little bit tricky to figure out where the end of the line was, but there was another cast member there kind of guiding people. So that was helpful. And my experience was really long. It was about 30 minutes waiting in line to check out. And that's just because they were taking one person at a time at the bakery counter, one person at a time at the cash register. And I'm hoping that they can expedite this somehow once the parks reopen. Maybe it'll be a little bit better when there's more shops open. But I nearly abandoned my purchases because it was taking so long. But then I kind of pictured my kids' faces if I came home without their requested treats. And so I just stuck it out. Okay. Is there anything else you think that guests visiting A Touch of Disney should know?
Well, I think you brought up a good point about the lines. One thing with having everyone so spaced out, and you're going to see this as the theme parks reopen, is that sometimes it's difficult to find where the line is. A couple times we went to go up to a PhotoPass photographer thinking that no one else was in line, but because the line is so far removed to give adequate space, You kind of have to look around, and once you're used to looking for those visual cues, you'll start to notice those more. That's the same for mobile order pickup or just going in a regular line to order food. You kind of need to keep your eyes open and see where's the right place to be, and you can always ask if you're not sure. There was one time that I got in the wrong line, waited in the hold line, and it turned out it was only mobile order pickup. So I needed to place an order in a different line. So there's a learning curve, and sometimes that can be a little bit disappointing. But a couple things to know about A Touch of Disney is there are no lockers available right now. That space tends to be pretty cramped, and a lot of people going in and touching different places to put your lockers. And I really love having lockers, and that would have helped me shop a little bit more, but I put off my purchases till the end because I didn't want to carry those around. So be prepared for that, and hopefully they'll be able to figure out a way to open those once the theme parks reopen. Another thing that's always a given on any Disney day is you want to have a phone charger, a portable phone charger. They do have the kiosk where you can swap out your portable batteries to charge your phone, if I'm saying that right. Those are located throughout the parks called fuel rods. You purchase it one time and then you swap them out for free or a small fee to keep your phones charged. They also had games of Pixar Pier available for free during A Touch of Disney. This was a ton of fun because those games usually cost, so I tend to walk right on by, but we had a great time playing those.
Yeah, and one thing, they are cleaning off everything in between. So you might see a line and go, oh, there's only 4 or 5 people in it, but it's going to take a little while, and you have to kind of have your patience because in between each play, they're cleaning off the handles and anything that's high touch is being cleaned off. So that's one thing just to keep in mind, especially with kids, just to pack your patience because things take a little bit longer than you might be used to.
For sure.
So before we wrap this up, let's answer our would you rather question. Jessica, in anticipation of Disneyland's reopening on April 30th, 2021, answer me this. Would you rather attend Disneyland's official grand opening in 1955 or this upcoming reopening in 2021? Unprecedented after over a full year of closure.
Wow. I would have to say the initial grand opening in 1955. That's something that we hear about so much. We have the recordings of Walt Disney saying, all who come to this happy place, welcome. It's something that I just can imagine in my mind what it was like. And, you know, Disney fans are still imagining what that was like because they have unofficial Dapper Day events where people dress up in their best and come just like they used to in the parks when it first opened. And I just don't think that's something you can completely recreate. So I will take my time machine and I will go back to 1955 and experience that.
I remember my parents talking to me about that and saying how they used to watch the shows and the buildup of that grand opening was just so exciting. But I think I'm going to go with the upcoming reopening. I think that the pent up excitement of this whole year and all what we've gone through this whole year, we could all use a little magic, a little pixie dust. We all need to get back in the parks and be in our happy place again. So I'm going to go with the upcoming reopening, and I sure hope that I'm there.
Well, you've spoken it. The universe has heard you. All of our Disneyland with Kids friends have heard you. Julie, we hope that you're there on the reopening day as well.
Well, that's it for us today, and we thank you so much for joining us. You've been listening to Jessica and Julie discussing A Touch of Disney at the Disneyland Resort. We'd love to hear more from you, so be sure to stop by the Disneyland with Kids Facebook group, and we'll see you real soon.